It's Tuesday, August 6th, and today's topic is Office 365 change management. I talk with Tommy about the what, the why, and the how. Enjoy. Hi, and welcome to the Work Together Better podcast. This is your host, Danny Ryan. This is ThreeWill's official podcast about enterprise collaboration, how people, process, and technology combine to help organizations, departments, and teams work together better. Today, I'm going to be talking to Tommy Ryan. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Danny.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And
Awesome.
It's that time of year where we're starting to transition from summer to fall. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a hot summer.
Yeah. How's the garden doing?
It's in some areas it's fading. A lot of the tomatoes are starting to get to a point where they're getting tuckered out and starting to look at what I want to plant for the fall. So getting things like kale and Swiss chard and beets and green beans and peas. Looking forward to the next kind of round of stuff.
So planting the next crop.
That's right.
Awesome.
It's all about planting seeds.
Today we're going to be talking about the Office 365 change management. And this is a part of a new series that we're putting together on Office 365 tenant consolidations. And the last one that we did was sort of a high-level intro to that. And today I just wanted to talk to you about one particular piece of it, which is the change management piece of these projects. I think maybe a good place for us to start is like, what are we talking about when we say change management with regards to an Office 365 tenant consolidation? What can you just sort of define it at a high level for me?
Yeah, at a high level, change management is about aligning to a training and communications plan to make sure that what you're trying to accomplish in this consolidation is realized and the proper amount of communication is taking place to make sure people feel comfortable as you're moving down this path of taking multiple organizations and coming into one place to collaborate.
Excellent. And what's the why spend the time doing this? What's the benefits that you're going to see out of focusing in on this?
Well, I think we've said this before when we talk about migrations. It's like the 3 C's of migrations: communications. We know this is moving people's cheese. Although we're moving people from the same platform into a consolidated platform, you're still moving the cheese. You're still putting them somewhere else in a navigation structure. You are going into a much bigger location, so the information might be harder to find. And also, you might be changing the way you use the platform. Maybe you had Yammer before, and now Yammer goes away because they have a different approach for one-to-many communication or many-to-many communication. And so as a part of an organization coming together into one location, it's important to make sure people are ready for that. And not only would communication be a part of this, but also training, making sure people know how to use the defined tool set that is going to be configured and enabled across the organization.
Excellent. And a little bit about the how is this done? Is it sort of does this typically map into how we do our traditional migration projects where there's a pilot phase or sort of different phases that you're focusing in on this change management?
It definitely is an inspect and adapt type cycle, and with migrations. The technical performance of moving the stuff is definitely iterative in a way that you learn as you go. and you bite off smaller pieces before you go off and do the whole thing. So you're going to do some initial planning, determining what are your goals that you're trying to accomplish, and how change management and adoption strategies can reinforce the goal that you're looking to achieve. And that is understanding who has what part to play, and making sure we're accepting what gets rolled out, and there's a good checkpoint along the way. And when you go to do the production itself, you definitely want to have a dress rehearsal before you get to that point of doing the full production. So you're going to do a pilot, and you're going to test out the concepts that you plan for to make sure you don't need to make any fine-tune adjustments before rolling it out in a production rollout. So that's that communication, change management, training, those elements definitely benefit from a plan and design. Test that concepts out, because every organization is different in terms of what really resonates with them and what is necessary to support this type of change in the organization. And then you should be inspecting and adapting to come up with what is the production plan. So that's nothing new, but I think in the grand scheme of things, people can skimp on this. People can kind of overlook the importance of it. And we definitely know there's some organizations we work with, they know this, they do this, they're well honed in how to do this change management to roll out new technologies or consolidate technologies. But some organizations need the help. They want not to get into that detail. They know there are lessons learned in this, and they don't want to learn them from scratch. They want some expertise to come in and help them down that change management journey.
So it sounds like this is one of those situations where the client involvement might change based on the project, where you might have some clients who want to help really drive some of the change management, and we might assist with them, as opposed to some other ones who want us to take more of a involved approach to the change management and help lead it up, lead up that portion of the project for them.
Yeah. And, one of the things I can draw an equivalency to is the custom development that we do to create a collaborative solution. We used to depend on the client solely to test what we've done and give us feedback. And inevitably, people are busy and don't have time to do that. So to be able to have an involvement in that change management and adoption and training ensures better success and puts your client in a better position at the end of the project, where if you go and say in retrospective, we should have had you do more of that, we're suggesting let's take that on and make sure that's done well. And we're definitely adapt the strategy based on their disciplines and their capabilities, and come up with a base plan that we'll all be happy with, so we come at the end of the project and we're successful.
Yep. It's funny, I thinking about this and your discussions with you and with Kirk and with others about migrations, I think the reason why we're doing this is because just recognizing what is it going to take for us to be successful with the adoption of the new platform. And this is a really a key component of making sure not are we just moving the content, not are we just technically pulling off the migration or the consolidation, but we're also recognizing that there's an organization and communities and users behind this, where you're changing something and helping them adapt to that change. And unless you really think through that, you're not going to be successful in the end. You're not going to be able to enable them to leverage and take advantage of, and you won't have the adoption numbers with the new platform you're putting in place.
Yeah, we found this so important that we've partnered with folks that have some deep expertise when it comes to heavier lifting, some of the larger scale migrations that need a dedicated team around rolling this out. If you can imagine, this can be a significant effort, sometimes bigger than the migration itself, to make sure you have the resources needed to do that. Especially in the training aspect. The training aspect is an area that, if you have tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people in your organization, rolling out that training, can be pretty significant. So, we find ways that we can work with the organization if they have those resources, provide the training material, and that gives them something to leverage to be able to effectively use their internal resources to roll out training. Otherwise, if we weren't involved with that, they would be kind of learning some lessons around what's critical to communicate and train, and they've learned it after the fact. And most organizations are not going to do this too many times, and it's not core to their business. So it's a great opportunity for us to help people keep focused on their core business while we take care of the block and tackle of making sure something like this is done well, and done in the perspective of you understand what the challenges are and can mitigate those along the way, versus getting to the end and potentially having a failure due to not the technical side of things, but just the expectation management and organizational readiness to absorb this new change.
Awesome. Anything else to wrap us up here? Any last minute?
I think it's something that it's important. Again, we've said it in the past. It's the 3 C's of successful migrations is communication, communication, communication. And you just can't overlook that. And it's what we found has been key to our more successful engagements, is where there's been an investment in that communication.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom, for sharing your thoughts on this. And thank you, everybody, for listening, and have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Work Together Better podcast. We're available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you're looking for a partner to help you craft a modern digital workplace on the Microsoft Cloud, please come by and see us at 3will.com. That's the number 3 spelled out, WILL.com. Thank you and have a great day.